I figured it out, boys. Couldn't have done it by myself. I really don't know how it all clicked, but it did. So, I don't have anything to do. Got a little bit of time. Retraction. I have lots and lots of things to do, but I am so tickled that I finally pieced it all together. It's been like a decade of me going over retracing my steps. You know, when you lose something, you just gotta look around, retrace your steps, and you'll find it. And so I feel like I've been doing that like a crazy person. Like, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? And I try not to let myself like obsess, you know. But you know, there's different pieces that have come to me over the years, and I'm like, maybe, just maybe, that was an orchestrated effort. And maybe my friends did that. And specifically one friend, ZZ May Haggerty. What's up, ZZ, you fucking cunt? Mediocre as fuck, I still see. You married a guy, so you don't have to admit that you have like a body count of 7,000 dudes. I mean, Ruben really took one for the team there. I don't even know what to say. He chose to marry you, so I guess he knew what came along with that. But wow, to know that you've spent like 10 years trying to ruin my reputation, fuck up my opportunities, steal my friends, you know, I just, I thought you would do other things with your time, you know, but wow, it all has pieced together. So I guess I'm just gonna try to focus on like chronologically, and go from there. I don't know how far I'll get in this video, but excuse me. We'll try. This fucking desk, I swear to God. So 2009 is when I went to college. I graduated, right? Took a gap year. And then once I had decided what I wanted to go to college for, you know, I planned a couple fun trips for myself. So one of those trips was going to a music festival. I chose to go to Sasquatch, because Coachella was really expensive, and Coachella even then had a bit of a reputation of it being like kind of more hipstery, and I wasn't really wanting to have like a hipster experience. I was just wanting to go listen to music, have a good time, maybe meet some people, nothing crazy. And I didn't really realize that like people were narcissists back then. Like, I knew there were people that were really obsessed with themselves, but I didn't think much of it, you know. I was just like, oh wow, they're so confident. But it's not confident. It's like, you will like me kind of a vibe. So yeah, 2009, I think it was, we went to a music festival, and then we liked it so much, we went back the following year. I really only remember going that one time with Jamie and ZZ and Malachi. And Jamie and Malachi like hooked up at that time. So you know, I respect girl code, you know. So Malachi was kind of off the table. So I really wanted to be like friends with him. I thought he was really funny and nice, and because he dated my friend, I assumed it was safe, you know, that he wouldn't try to make a pass at me or whatever. And the whole time I knew him, I had a boyfriend, so I was just like, yeah, he's not a dirtbag, right? So I had a lot of fun at that music festival. I just started dating my boyfriend Jeremiah, and I just like super, you know, the relationship was so new, so it was so fun, and he was really trying to impress me, and you know, he wanted to meet my friends and see if my friends were nice like I was. And so he thought they were all really nice. It was just all this, it was so nice. Everything was nice. Everyone was really respectful and just sweet. So Jeremiah left, and we continued our travels. This was the year that the projectile vomiting happened in Vegas. This was like probably a couple weeks later. But so yeah, we were just like all traveling around together. Some guy on that trip, one of Zizi's friends, Zizi and Malachi's friends, and this should have been a bigger red flag to me then, but I didn't. I was just so on the high, you know, of like having a great boyfriend for the first time. I just thought Jeremiah was great. You know, I loved him. I just thought he was great, you know, like he was so sweet to me. He was so he was really into me. And that felt really good. And I like wanted to share that feeling with my friends. You know, because a lot of them were haters. They didn't think like love was real and God doesn't exist. Like all these just like terrible things. So I was like, no, guys, come on. Like you can do it. And of course they made it like, oh, you're a pretty girl. Like you're going to meet any kind of cool guy. It was just like, what? Like, can't you just be happy for me? No, long story short, no, they cannot. So anyway, I'm gonna try to stick to the, like, just telling it chronologically, because I feel like I'll miss stuff if I try to make like key points out of it. You as the listener, it's your job to decide what the takeaway points are. I don't need to think for you, and I don't want to. So yeah, I was like so happy, you know, dating Jeremiah and feeling pretty and cool and popular, and I was just like loving life. So I had met Zizi. No, yeah, what I said originally was true. We went 1 year and then we went back together. It has to be what it was. 2009, and then we went again in 2010. Because I remember going that first year with Jamie, and we met up with Zizi there and had a good time, and then we all went back. Like, we intentionally went back as a group. So on this trip where we had all gone as a group, and I was like, you know, newly dating Jeremiah. That first year I went, I wasn't dating anybody. I was just about to start college, and I was having the fucking time of my life, you know. Came from a really small town, and it's like a retirement community, so if anybody's hitting on you, it's like someone you don't want to be hitting on you. So I was like super hyped to be around people my own age for the first time, and like be doing all of these like totally age appropriate normal activities. And I like had begged, you know, my parents basically. They were like, I don't think it's safe, you shouldn't go. So like I put so much fucking work into being able to be part of that experience. So yeah, so after you know, and people just always seem to think like, oh, I worked my fucking ass off waiting tables for months, you know, saving money and not going out and fucking doing anything, just going to work and going home to be able to afford this activity. You know, and that should have tipped me off. Like, anytime you see like hippie looking crusty kids. Like, I know now that they're like trust fund babies, but like they'll never tell you that because they're acting. They're trying to see if they can, like, you know, if they can pass or whatever. So anyway, to finish with the original point that I'm trying to make, I just started dating Jeremiah. Zizi brought some guy friend of hers over to see if I would like flirt with him or sleep with him or make out with him, and I did hold his hand, you know. And even that, I was like, we shouldn't. Like, I just started dating a guy. I don't know, like, why, you know, what this is all about. Like, why you're coming here to hang with me. I have a boyfriend. Like, and he was dressed like in a Jon Travolta suit. Like, he went way over the top, and he was just like really intense, and he looked eerily like my like high school boyfriend. So for me, I was just like, nah, 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 nah. Next. Yeah, I was just like not feeling it. So I didn't think at the time, I was like, why would Zizi invite a guy to come hang with both of us knowing that I have a boyfriend? Because she was being shady. So yeah, that happened. And then other events happened in the summer, which I have already discussed in an unrelated topic, but somehow related. So that was weird. And then Jamie and Malachi weren't seeing each other at that point, but I had a boyfriend, and Malachi would be kind of weird with me, you know, like look at me a little too intensely, or like I could feel him like looking at my butt when I walked. And I had a really fat ass in those days. That's kind of what I've been known for. Just had a fucking dumper. Because I rode my bike a lot and I exercised my ass a lot, so it was just fucking enormous. And all that kind of fell away when I was trying to be friends with all these fucking losers. These yuppies who like didn't like me and were all about like, they were poor people in their heads, but they got a little bit of money, and then they're like, huh, I'm better than you. And like most of the people that I grew up with were not like that. They did not have that attitude. Most people that stay wealthy don't have that attitude. If that is how you feel, it's more of like a poverty thinking. Anyway, so that weird Jon Travolta thing happened. Us all hanging out, Zizi trying to set me up to cheat, and that was weird. And then I told Jeremiah about it, and he thought it was weird. And I was just like, oh, you know. He was a little older than me, so he knew. He was already on game, and I wasn't. I was just, like, super naive and, like, just way too trusting. So, and then, you know, whatever. Jeremiah should have said and done more, but whatever. So, 2010, after that festival, I came back, living with Maya. I think we had just decided to like move in together, you know, and we had like a really nice time. Like, I don't even want to talk about Jeremiah because like he's, you know, I don't know. He really broke my heart, so I don't want to speak out of anger. So I'm just gonna try to like. I'm so embarrassed. 2010, I was just living with Maya. It was just him and I in that house. And he was working a lot. And I think he had two of his girlfriends living there. And, you know, I kind of insisted that they move out because I didn't want other girls living at the house. It made me feel, he had like told me that he had slept with them before, so I was like, I really don't feel comfortable if we're all gonna live together. You know, no offense, but I'm your girlfriend, they're not your girlfriend, and I know that there's opportunities that you will probably sleep with these sisters if they're around. So they were really mad about that, and I didn't really think about it. I was just like, you guys, like, get a fucking life. Like, obviously you're not going to keep living with the guy that you've been casually hooking up with when his girlfriend moves in. Like, you're not serious, right? But they were really mad about that. So, and I did, I didn't think, like I said, I just was like, I'm really logical, and I can be like way too logical about things, because other people are not logical. People are very emotional, and I've had to make that distinction in life. I'm like, oh, some things just like I wouldn't get emotional about, but other people are very quick to do that. So they got really mad, and it was just him and I, and then Zizi wanted to go on some, like, she wanted to, what do you call it? She wanted to go ride trains, like through the South, and she said how fun it sounded, and Malachi said how fun it sounded, and me saying it out loud now, I'm like, oh my god, she was like totally trying to kill you, and then like pass it off like it was an accident, because she was just, it's totally dangerous to do that. And I told her from the snap, I was like, that doesn't sound like anything I would be interested in. I like bathing every day, and doing my makeup, and that sounds fun in theory, but like there's no way I would like actually want to do that. And I told her as much, but I did agree. I was like, yeah, I'll go with you, knowing full well that I had no intention of actually doing that, because I thought it was absolutely nuts. And for her to have not even entertained how I felt about it, she was just like, yeah, no, it's super cool and you should come. I was just like, girl, are you trying to take me swimming in shark infested waters, and like smiling at me about it? So that was very weird for me. And then she got super mad, because we had plans to go to, to go off and do this. And then instead, I went to Portland with Renee, and that really cheesed her off. But I was so in love with Renee at the time. She had fucked my boyfriend, and he was really in love with her. So I was like, what is it? Like, why does he like her so much? And I really liked her. And at the time I was like, maybe we could all, be in a relationship together. But I was just, I'm too jealous of a person to be able to like actually do something like that. So yeah, at that point in my life, that's what I was thinking about, and not thinking about, whatever the fuck Zizi was trying to do.
You're still recording yourself?
Yeah. Did you need something?
Is Brooke still hungry if she ate all her eggs?
There's a little bit in the pan if you want to give her the rest. You can give her some of those cheese crackers or an apple. I forget what I was talking about. Oh yeah, so we went to Portland instead, and I had a great time with Renee. Always did. Renee was always super duper fun. I miss Renee. She was just real. A lot of people are not real, and that was something that I always really admired about her. She was just very authentic. Yep, so we went to Portland, and that really made her mad. So that was like summer of 2010, and yeah, we just had a fucking blast. And it was never like, Renee and I would like dance together, but there was never like any.
You have to feed the cats.
Okay. Anything, like that going on. For whatever reason. Loyalty to existing relationships, notwithstanding. But I'm just gonna finish doing what I'm doing. The cats have dry food. They just like to harass anyone when they go in the kitchen because they want the wet food, even though there's dry food. Cats. So yeah, that really cheesed off Zizi. So that was in the summer. Then by the winter time, because that's when business picked up more for Maya. Yeah, I don't know. I was such a bad girlfriend. Like, I was just like kind of only worried about myself, but he worked so much. So, it was like hard to like just jump back in when he had time. And he was always just interested in work, and I loved, you know, music, so I was like, I could follow along with like everything he was doing most of the time. But you know, guys just like attention, and I've learned as I've gotten older that like emotions and expressing my feelings like definitely isn't like my strong suit. Like I can do it in friendships, but in like romantic relationships, I'm just like so afraid of disappointing them, so I'll just disappoint myself. Anyway, what is the point of all this? Oh yeah, so then by the wintertime, you know, Zizi was wanting to hang out again, get on the guest list and do things, and I was hanging out with Renee a lot. So then that was 2011, and that was like the beginning of my like, you know, when I started using way too much ecstasy. And I don't really like to talk about that period because like I don't want to encourage anyone else to like do that. But that was a part of my life, and I feel like that started in the it was like at the Yell show or around that time. That was like, that had to have been 2011, like the November or December in 2011. And then by January, no, I mean it was later. I think it was like by my birthday. I was like, oh, okay, I feel like I'm using too, you know, it became like just doing it once to like, oh, let's do it every night, very quickly, you know, and then it was, you know, once a month. Oh, let's do it on Saturday. Oh, let's do it on Tuesday, you know. So it was like, I don't know, it got way out of hand for me, and it was just a world that I really didn't have much experience in. And yeah, so yeah. And I wasn't hanging with Zizi very much then. She had her like boyfriend, Brooke. All right. I guess we'll call that for now. Hold on. Haha, I got you. So yeah, wasn't seeing Zizi much, but then she would pop up. She would like invite me to stuff, because it had been a while since I had talked to her, since the you know, me bailing on her and not going and getting killed on a train. She was really upset. You know, odd. That was like strike number 2 for me. I was like, you're weird for this. Because it didn't sound fun. I told her it didn't really sound like something I'd want to do. I like agreed to it just because she like wouldn't stop asking, and then didn't show up because I didn't want to get into an argument with her, because anytime, you know, we had any kind of disagreement, she would get really weird. Like, you know, you ever have like a teacher that like when they're mad, their like nostrils flare out and they like, you can tell that like if you were alone, they would like swat you or something. But because there's other kids around, they're just like, you know, like, bro, what happened? So yeah, so she would like invite me to things, and she had this friend Claire, and I thought Claire was nice enough, but I could tell that Claire didn't like me, and you know, I'm not gonna like try to be super nice to someone that I can tell doesn't like me. So I was like, oh, I don't know what Zizi said about me to her, but clearly she has some feelings about it, because I think Zizi had ended up moving in. Zizi had lived with me in Tempe, and then I moved in with Jeremiah, and she stayed at the apartment that I shared with Jamie, and then she ended up getting her own apartment. No, what did she? I don't know what she ended up doing. She ended up moving. Oh no, she ended up moving in with Claire, and that's why she was like all haterade. And then later, she eventually got her own apartment, but that was way later. So she stayed with a bunch of different people, I mean, including me, and had help from a lot of people, and then didn't extend any help. I'm just like, what a fucking loser. Yeah. Hey, little cutie patootie. Yes, who's that beautiful girl? I understand. So the reason I'm telling you all this is all of these different pieces paint the picture of like of whatever the hell happened between us that made her feel justified in trying to like ruin my life, because I haven't even gotten to the important bits, but this is all just context, I guess. So and we had been going to school, you know, like we had both been going to ASU during this time, and I went for creative writing, she was going for art, and then she switched her major, and I broke my thumb in like March of 2010, and that's really like what set off, you know, all of that. Like I just started drinking even more after my thumb healed and I dropped out of school. I was just like, yeah, fuck it. So that was a really, really big you know, crazy thing that happened in my life. Like I broke my thumb and I like reset it, you know, drunk. I just popped it back out, and everyone went crazy for that story for months. And I was still riding my bike around a lot. I had my car just like parked at the house most of the time. So I just had my shit together, you know. And I was like trying to help other people out and just like be a good person. And I just chose to help totally the wrong people. So where am I in this story? Yeah, she started inviting me to events, and then Claire started like networking more, and God bless it. Why are you trying to mess with my stuff? Get off. Oh. What? What? You are way too crazy. All right. I don't remember where I am in this retelling of events. You are really asking for trouble, girl. Oh. How can I summarize? I got half of I'm like almost there. Are you saying? Stop! You're very naughty. Dada. Yeah, where is Dada? What you know about Dada? pink phone. If you're on my bed, oh. Hello. Hello. Yeah. You're cute. Yes. Okay. Yeah. 2011, Claire, Ecstasy, Renee's easy. Claire was rude. ZZ made a point of being like, oh, this is one of my great friends. So I thought she'd be super nice. She was rude. That was like, perhaps something is not right here. So then 2012, 2012 was the year, what happened in 2012? I feel like, I went to Coachella that year. That was super fun. I think that was our 3-year anniversary. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. So we went with like a big caravan of friends, not including any of my friends who had slept with my boyfriend for obvious reasons. That's when it started kind of becoming, I think, obvious to everyone that, like, you know, there was a problem that was, you know, waiting to be addressed. And the problem was, you know, people just said it was me, but it was my friends. So then they blamed me. It's like when you have a party and you invite a bunch of people over and then they eat up all the food and drink up all the booze and they're like, whose friends are these? And it's like, oh, they're my friends. So it was a really bad look for me and Jeremiah. And in 2012, I think that's when we were like, oh shit, like, you know, we just went with all of his friends, you know, and that was nice. And then all of his friends kind of tried making, you know, a move at me, which was a whole thing in and of itself. So I think we were both at that point like, what are we doing? Like, how are we going to do this? And I wasn't trying to hang with any of my friends as much. I was just trying to spend some time with Jeremiah. At that point, I was realizing like, oh wow, like, there's a lot more space between us than I realized. There's a lot more people in this relationship than I originally thought there would be. So that was fun. It had been you know, we went 2 years in a row, took 2011 off, and then went in 2012. And that was really fun. We had a great time. You know, yeah, very, very memorable experience. Oh, you want some makeup, do you? Whoa, backflip. Whoa. Here you go. Here you go, baby. You can't play on the window. I'm going to stop you every time. Ew, that's cool. Yep. I think that's probably enough information to start with. But, yeah, that was the groundwork. I think at that point, Zizi had gotten her own apartment. She had split up with the, like, kind of, jerky guy that she was seeing. He would, like, make her ride the bus to go see him. And I was just like, what the fuck? That guy's, like, not even cute. Like, why are you riding the bus to go see him? Yep. And then I thought one of his friends was cute at that time. And yeah, I think, or maybe that was after I split up with, I remember, she dated that guy for a long time, and he was so awful. I couldn't understand her dating him or anything. It just none of it made any sense. And then she had an attitude because I didn't. I was like, you deserve better than that. And you know what? I guess she didn't. I wouldn't say that. Like, even though it's easy. I mean, I would never try to get someone like fired from their job so that they become homeless. But that was like her whole plan, you know? When I think back to some of the conversations we had, I'm like, oh my God. When I told her, like, oh, those nerds that don't have sex with girls, you know, they'd do anything. And then, like, a light bulb went off in her head, like, oh, wow, yeah, you're right. I can get them to do anything if I have sex with them. Okay, game on. So, yeah, 2012, I was trying to keep my distance from ZZ, and I wasn't really talking to Jamie, and I was still talking to Renee. We had periods of not talking and talking because she had slept with my boyfriend pretty much when we'd been dating for like 2 months, something like that, 2 or 3 months, not long enough, and we were just dating. She, it was totally foreign to her that you could date someone and not sleep with them. So that was like an on again, off again friendship. And I think it was on again at that point because I wasn't talking to ZZ. And then Jamie had gotten a boyfriend, and Jamie was just really involved with school. And at that time, like, I really did want to like hang out and collaborate and do stuff together. I should have just been working on projects, but I was just still kind of trying to figure out, I was just really enjoying socializing, to be honest, because it was the first time, like I said, going to a music festival. It was the first time I was around a lot of people my own age that weren't just a bunch of shitty rich kids. So that was huge for me, and I really, really cherished that that time in my life. So I just had a really open heart, and was trying to see what would work, And so 2011, some addiction issues. 2012 was when I was like, okay, I need to get sober, and but I was still kind of like actively partying. But I was cutting back, and that created a lot of problems because, I was like basically in the scene. So me getting sober and not being able to hold my liquor and all these other things kind of created a lot of problems for the guy that I was seeing, because he needed me to do that. That's his job. So that was really disappointing for me. I tried to be casual about it, or tried to work different ways, but people would always just end up feeding me a lot of drinks, and then I'd end up puking, and then Jeremiah would get upset because it's not a good look. So it was a lot of different people teaming up together to feed me pineapple upside down shots, and get me to puke, give me a beer right after, just like really, really dumb things that now I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I fell for that. But I didn't really have any experience drinking, didn't have any talk. I didn't understand how bad some people can be, and they'll try to act like they're so fucking nice. That's what threw me off about ZZ, was that she was always trying to be like, oh, I'm so nice, we had to eat out of the trash, oh, my life's been so hard. And I'm like, yeah, okay, like, I mean, you go to the food bank, like, what are you talking about? Why do you, I don't know, there's just levels to it. And I've been very, very poor for a lot of my life, so I fully understood, but like, we still had dignity, It's something you can't really buy. So why not have dignity, even if you are poor, particularly. So what the hell am I talking about? 2012. So I think that's when Renee and I decided to open a clothing store. That had to have been in 2012. No, that was like in 2014. 2012. Yeah, getting sober, 2013. I wasn't like fully sober, but I was just like realizing that I had kind of an issue with holding my booze. And then 2013 I got pregnant, and like Jeremiah had kind of like, you know, pitched the idea of us getting married, and I said I wasn't ready. You know, and I told all my friends about that, and they flipped out, you know, because they didn't want me getting married before them, and I didn't really see it that way at the time. I was just like, why is everyone, like, I just fully didn't understand. Like, why is everyone so upset that, like, I don't get it. And I didn't, like, and we broke up, you know, like, I didn't want to get married. Maybe I did, you know, I was just so scared, you know, and I didn't really have anyone that was, like, actually supportive of me. You know, anyone I told that to, they're like, oh my God, you couldn't marry him. So I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I was just devastated. And then because I was drinking and partying a lot, I like wasn't talking to my mom. I know if I had just talked to my mom, she would have been like, oh, obviously you should marry him. Like, you need to lay some ground rules. But he would be a great husband, because she always thought that. Yeah, 2013.